So this isn't really intended as a yarn haul, but I did go out and I bought some yarn. And I thought, just kind of selfishly, I just kind of want to talk about what I got because it's sock yarn and I really like sock yarn. First off, I thought maybe I would like to talk about the socks that I've made so far and explain kind of what I'm thinking as far as the sock yarn purchases that I've made recently, I guess. First off, here's the sock that I just finished the other day, actually. Most of these are made from either Kroy sock yarn or the opal or opal, I guess, sock fingering weight sock yarn. I kind of like the superwash wools with nylon that aren't merino specifically. I've made one, actually, I think so far two. But this doesn't feel, maybe this one wasn't merino. I actually don't remember. But one for sure, maybe two of these are made with a merino sock yarn. And I kind of feel like, I don't know, I've heard some people say that the merino sock yarns tend to wear out a little bit faster. I would say that the color hasn't held up as nicely on this hand-dyed merino sock yarn, which makes me kind of like not excited to use these so much because they are more expensive and I'm a little scared of them wearing out faster. I do seem to prefer the opal sock yarn. It's what my yarn shop stocks, and it has a number of different colors. I would like to put in some orders online to different shops, maybe to get some colors that I can't get at my local shop. But for now, I'm kind of just working with what they have for now. So this is the one that I did last. So this is my first textured sock, actually. Um, I like vanilla socks best, it would seem. I'm kind of tweaking my recipe a little bit each time as I go. But for the most part, I kind of know what I like to make. And this is my first time making like a textured version. And honestly, it wasn't really my favorite. I don't think it's just because of the solid color, because I don't mind a solid color sock yarn. I think I like colors and not just solid because it makes it a little bit more interesting. But I think like the texture slows me down for one. And I was worried that I was going to feel the texture in my shoes. It turns out it's fine. But it's also just kind of not necessarily my favorite. I kind of just like knitting a vanilla sock with colors. But I did do some different things this time. I like to knit my socks bottom up. Usually I've done like one or two top down, which like that's fine. It doesn't really matter a whole lot, honestly. But I start toe up. I always like to do a short row heel with a gusset. So here's where I started the increases. I think this one was a 60 stitch foot, and then I did 7 increases here and then 7 decreases, and whatever, it doesn't really matter. But just a 2x1 rib because it seemed like it made sense, and I thought I would like the look of that as opposed to like a 2x2. And I do like the look of it. And I found I was actually able to read a book while I was knitting this, which surprises me. I didn't think that was something I could do. And I didn't really make any mistakes, I don't think. So I think like I didn't really enjoy the process of knitting these socks. But like they're fine, I guess. I don't know that I would do it again. Also, my first sock I finished in December, and then I only just finished the second one the other day. So shows how much I was excited about these. I did want to see, since I was doing like a texture here, it made sense to do like a rolled cuff at the top for contrast. That's not necessarily what I would do next time. I think I would try doing like a redistributed 1x1 rib and then Italian tubular bind off at the top, which I like. I think that would be cool. I would probably try that next time, but I did want to give this a try, and I sewed the inside kind of like a Kitchener stitch together so it'd be really seamless. And it's fine. It's not my favorite. I don't know if I would do it again. It's thicker, whatever. But it was worth experimenting with, and here they are. Also, this is currently the pair that I'm wearing, and my one foot is cold, so I'm going to put that back on. I have an assortment of socks I've made over the last year. I don't remember how many pairs in I am at this point. I made a set for my mom earlier, so and then like a bunch of worsted weight socks. So I mean, I guess if you count those, it's even more. But mostly I just thought this was a nice assortment of different socks that kind of shows what I'm interested in at the moment. The way I was able to figure out setting up the second camera, not all of these socks that I picked up will fit today, but like whatever, that's fine. Here's kind of what I've been doing. I found in general, I like to have a contrast toe and heel, and often a cuff also. I'm not crazy about the way that it looks when you've got like a pattern in a 2x2 cuff, but also at this point, I kind of also feel like I don't care all that much. So, like, whatever. But for the most part, I'll typically put like a cuff and a toe and a heel in a contrast color, and then the main body is like a fun pattern or whatever. I think like a couple times I left the toe just as its own sort of self, and I kind of regret doing that. I don't know, like it's fine. I just like a contrast toe and heel at least. So I've made a couple of actually solid color socks that don't have that contrast, which once again, like the textured ones I was wearing earlier, that's fine, but I just like the way it looks. And it works really well for like a short row heel too. So that's usually what I'm probably going to do. All of these, of course, are short row heels, except for the one that I'm working on right now, which I'll talk about later. I kind of have an idea that I should try doing a heel flap sock at least once. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. But anyway, I kind of like right now, I'm kind of into stripes, specifically like this sock yarn. I looked for this for a while, and I was really excited when I could find it. This is a Kroy sock yarn. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but I just like the assortment of colors that are in it, and I like the width between the different stripes. This, where it's like the pattern is kind of like a 1 and then a 2, not quite as crazy about that. But like these slightly thicker stripes, like maybe like either like a 2 stripe or a 3 stripe, like I think this one, the green tends to be like kind of like 2 rows. I like the look of that more than I like the look of this. But I kind of have an idea that I would like to do my own sort of color pattern instead of using just whatever is in a sock. I kind of want to alternate colors. So that's something I think I would like to do at some point in the future. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but like this one is a Yorkshire Spinners Christmas yarn, and it has a little bit of tinsel in it, and it's very fun. So I guess that brings me to the sock that I'm working on right now. Here's where I am at the moment. I am going to do a heel flap for this one, and I kind of figure that from what I understand of what I like from my regular gusseted short row heel sock pattern, that I should probably be able to easily convert that to heel flap. But like I might, who knows, maybe I'll end up having to rip it back, but like also who cares? It's just yarn, you can do that. Here you can see where I've started the gusset increases here, but at this point you can see how the color repeat is going. I really like the way that this looks. I was trying to find pictures of the way that this yarn was supposed to work up, but I don't know, I guess like just nobody has been sharing pictures of this yarn because I couldn't find really anything when I was searching. I really like this set of stripes in here. In particular, I like this orange, and I like this green, and I like the sort of background, not really white color. But also, like, I almost kind of wish that I had a skein of yarn that's just like this background color with these speckle bits in it. I really like speckle bits. I tend to not feel crazy about sock yarn that's like this. A lot of the opals are like this too. If I can grab something. Right, here's one that I got today. Some of these colorful opal sock yarns are like this too. And here's the picture here where you have sections where it's like a block of one sort of color pattern and then a block of something else. I kind of wish that it was not 2 different textured types. If it was just like solid stripes like this more often, that would be cool. I would like that. Or just like speckles like this, and then I can combine them however I want. I would probably like that more. but I have specific plans for this, which we'll talk about that later. Here's the ball of yarn. It's from Joann's, which is very sad. It's the Sock Star. Like I said, I couldn't find anybody really showing swatches of this when I bought this yarn, but it's a 75% superwash, 25% polyamide. The yardage is pretty much close enough to the Opal sock yarns where I can use them together and they don't, like, it seems fine. So, so far, I think, like, it's been kind of grabby on the inside. Like, I'll try to do center pull and it just, like, more yarn barfs than usual come out. But, like, other than that, it seems fine. Maybe more slubby bits every now and then, but for the price, pretty good. Too bad I probably won't be able to buy anymore, but I don't want to talk about that. So this one is Carnival Splash Stripe. I really like this yarn. It's been really fun seeing what it was going to look like as I worked through it. So very cool. You probably can't see. This does not look like it looks like to me. This is like a bright safety cone orange. It's almost, I don't know, I was almost kind of wishing I didn't choose this particular safety cone neon orange for the sock yarn. If I had had more of this sort of rusty orange, that would have been even better. But I was kind of feeling a little bummed about that. And I thought, well, what prompted the visit to the yarn shop today was I thought maybe I should get more yarn and do like a neon green to go with it. I thought I would try to do like, this one of course is going to have the orange toe, and I thought maybe I would do a green heel, and then I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the cuff yet. Maybe I'll just let it be its own yarn. I'm not sure. But I thought I would do a toe, orange toe, and green heel for this sock, heel flap, and then the next sock I thought I would do a green toe and then an orange heel, and maybe that'll be fine. This does not look how it looks like in real life, so I guess this isn't a good representation. But like, it's fine, and I think having two neons in here kind of makes the sock make a little bit more sense as opposed to like regular colors that I quite like, and then insane orange for some reason. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this turns out when I get to it. But this is why I went to the yarn shop today, to buy one skein of yarn. I bought more than one, so let's take a look at those. I don't know, maybe I'm being a little dramatic. I didn't buy like a ton of yarn. I'm not trying to, like, I don't know, maybe this is me kind of rationalizing a little bit to myself. You'll see yarn hauls and they'll have like boxes and boxes of yarn. That's not what this is. But it's a lot of yarn to me. Obviously we have this neon green yarn here, which, what color is this even? It's in German. I assume that's saying neon green. I've got a couple other neons that have the neon orange in the basket. Actually, I don't need it in the basket now. Here's the neon orange that I have. I guess at this point I've completed the opal highlighter colors. I got this in particular because I thought I would do something in particular with color work with this black yarn. I thought maybe I would do like a kind of like a plaid sort of a thing with the black as the background color, and then these three particular colors as like the accent color. But I mean, apparently now I've completed the collection, so I've got some green also, so who knows. Kind of related, this is not by Opal. This is just like a little sample. The brand is Universal Yarn, the Merino Neons. I originally thought, it's like, it's just a little guy. It's just a 25-gram skein. It's also a neon. It's like she had a bunch of these, and they were all slightly darker than the Opal sock yarns. So I kind of figured, like, also this is merino, and I said earlier, like, I feel kind of weird about merino sock yarn maybe. So I decided instead of getting a little mini skein of green, why not get a whole skein? And then I have a completed collection because that's something I care about. I don't really. But since there isn't like a purple, I was saying earlier, I thought it'd be cool to have like a nice neon purple. And so now I do. I think That could be fun. It would be neat if I could find like, the black's gone now, it ate it. It would be kind of nice if I could find like a neon blue also, and then I could maybe figure out something with like a, I don't know, a little bit rainbowy, I guess. That would be fun, like a highlighter rainbow. Anyway, so those were a couple things that I got. This was actually the other day when I did my kind of last Joann's visit, probably. I was looking around and they only had a few sock yarns left. They did have some Kroy sock yarn, which I guess I'll talk about in a minute. So I stocked up on some of those colors that I know I'll use, and I've already put those away. But they only had a few of these K&C Sock Star colors left. This is one that I didn't have. This one is Tutti Frutti Pop. I don't know what it's going to look like. It looks like it's going to be a pretty even stripe from the look of things. Not necessarily my favorite colors together, but it could be good for maybe knitting for somebody else. And also, like, just who knows? Could be fun. Oh, I also happened to get another of this one. It looks like it's going to be, actually, I think you can see it more with the other one. I had bought this one before, and I know somebody who will probably enjoy using this, so I got the same one. It's the classic rainbow stripe, and it looks like it's just going to be a nice rainbow, but it also has a lot of white and blue and red in another section. So once again, I don't know what this is going to look like, but it looks like it'll make a nice kind of rainbow yarn with like some extra stripes in there. So I grabbed another one of this since I had just the one left over. This one I talked about already before also. It's one of the Vincent yarns. I've bought two others of these before. Actually, I think I have one sitting here that I didn't show because I didn't have enough space. Here's a little shorty that I made with what looked more, I think this is supposed to be like the cafe sock, but it looked a little bit more like Starry Night to me than the Starry Night sock yarn did. So I picked this one up instead. And it kind of has that same issue that I was talking about where it's like two distinct block sections, I guess you could say maybe three. And I'm just not generally crazy about the way that works up, even though it is pretty. I would kind of rather that it had more even blocks of color. So the reason, so I kind of told myself I wasn't going to buy any more of those, but I like the colors that are in this one. In fact, let's go to here. So I do like the colors that are in this one. You can see the painting that it's inspired by here. And like I said, it's going to be like blocks of color, but I kind of have an idea that instead of leaving it just as is, I'm going to alternate with a solid color. Something I think I've been seeing a lot on Reddit lately is like a variegated sock yarn or something that has like a color pattern like this, and then you alternate with a solid color. And I think that comes out a little bit more interesting than just straight whatever this sock yarn is. I think this would be good with a couple different colors that I have, one of which I have already. Here's another opal that's like a dark red, and I think this could look interesting as the alternate color. Here's another color I got today that I've been thinking about getting. This is like a dark brown. So I thought this dark brown with these colors would look nice. And then like some various blues could look good with it, or like this one's actually more like a teal than a blue. But I thought that could be fun to pick one of those colors and see how that goes. I'm gonna have to rearrange the yarn wall. Oh, here's one that I'm kind of excited about. This is one of the Zauberball Crazies. I've been seeing, once again, I've been seeing a lot of people knit these socks lately on Reddit. There's a particular colorway, I don't remember the name of it, that has the like blues and greens, but then also like a yellow ochre in it. That's not what this is, but it is like a bunch of blues and greens, and I like those colors, so I think I'm going to be very happy with this. I I went into the yarn shop and I was kind of thinking about asking the owner, like, hey, have you considered carrying this particular kind of yarn? I think it looks really cool. And then I walked in the door and there they were in a basket. And I said, wow, did you get some of these? I was hoping to ask for them. And she said, no, they've been here for all of forever. I just didn't notice it, I guess. But here you can see it's a 2-ply yarn. It's a superwash wool with polyamide, I think. Nylon, excuse me. Supposedly biodegradable, which means you have to compost it in the correct way, but we're not going to worry about that. But it's like I don't know, the way that the colors are applied together, it's kind of just crazy. We have a picture here of what it would be expected to look like. These are literally my colors. If it had a yellow ochre in there, that would be even better. But I think it's just going to be really fun. I'm probably not even going to bother to do like a contrast toe or heel or anything. I'm just going to knit it as is. It'll just be a nice, I don't really even want to worry about how it looks so much. Just feel like knitting with some nice yarn, so to sock. I don't know. I'm kind of excited about this. Just, I don't know, just something nice to look forward to. Once again, I have seen some pictures of people knitting with this one where maybe they have another ball of the Zauber ball and they alternate every few rows and it makes like a really cool effect. I just decided to get the one and just let it be its thing. But I don't know, maybe in the future, maybe that would be a fun thing to do, to alternate colors on the same sock, but this will be fun. And just because I like talking about socks that I've made, I thought it would be fun to talk about the Celestial Colors. What is it, Celestial? Yeah, I remembered right. The Celestial Colors yarn that I picked up from Kroy Socks, just because it's cool and I feel like talking about it. So a funny thing about the Kroy sock yarns, if there's like any sort of interesting thing going on with color, really, they're almost never the same. In fact, hang on. Here's another example. This is Clover Colors. These are two very different kinds of yarn. If you didn't know any better, you might assume that this was two different colors. But it's not. They're both Clover colors, entirely different. And I've seen some where it has like reddish orange in there. Well, it's got a little bit of orange in there now. But sometimes they'll have orange in it, or more orange and red in it. You would not know that they were the same yarns. And that's kind of one of the frustrating things about the Kroy sock yarn. And I wouldn't, it's one of the sad things about Joann's going. I want to look at the yarns that I'm getting and see what they look like and try to get colors that will work for what I wanted to do. In this case, I thought it would be cool to alternate skeins of two different kind of similar ones. So like I got these deliberately because I liked these two and thought they would work well together. So that wasn't really an accident. But I would, oh yeah, here you can see like, here there's more orange. It's not really showing up on camera, but this is like orange here. But I don't really want to pick up any of the Kroy Socks effects without seeing them in person, just because you never know what you're going to get. I've made a pair of socks with the Celestial Colors before. Here is that pair. And you can see like, I think this is the one that I knit first. And I thought it was going to have like this really even gradient. It's like a nice mostly blue down to like a darker purple here. And I like this a lot. Also, this yarn is slightly thicker than the yarn here was. I started knitting this one. It was entirely different. This one, it's like pretty solid. Like these sections are almost entirely blue with a little bit of like a silverier blue end. And then here's like the purpley stuff. And then this one, it's like the two colors mixed in together. Entirely different. This is kind of cool, like a little bit more purple in here. I'm not mad about it now, but I was pretty grumpy about it at that point. Just because I didn't know any better, I guess. Now I know to expect it. So like with these, the color looks pretty even. They had some that it was more like this, where the color looked like it was not plied in a more variegated way like this. But I think like this one has a little bit more blue stuff in here. This one looks maybe a little bit more like blue and purple, like even. So I don't know. I mean, maybe, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this yet, but I know some people who would probably like colors like this, so I figured I'd stock up and someone would get some cool socks at some point, probably, I guess. Or maybe gloves. I kind of feel like I would like to make some gloves out of this. I don't know. I'll use it eventually. And that's not even talking about like these various yarns down here. I've got, oh man, like I've got like this yarn here. This is really cool. It's like pastel colors. It's by this brand. I'm not going to bother to read it. And it looks like it's going to be some really even stripes and kind of like the way that I was describing that I like. This is really cool. I don't know what I'm going to use for like a contrast toe or heel so that I can keep the stripes more even, but I want to, maybe like a white or something. But I think like with these nicer yarns, not only am I like concerned about the material, I guess, they're also just something I'm excited about using and looking forward to, and I don't want to mess it up. So these continue to sit. I got this last year, like in the spring. Same thing for these. These are some cool ones I got from a local fiber festival. This one, they're both by Geektastic Fibers. This one is called Anime Food. That's fun. It's got some really cool oranges and neon greens, and I don't know, it's just fun. I'm looking forward to making this. It's supposed to be self-striping. Like she made it so that the stripes would be, instead of doing the typical thing where people will dye it in the hank as is. So you get like like you usually get like four chunks of color all around the skein, and then it pulls in a very specific way. She said these, she opened up the skeins and then wound them differently so that you would get larger chunks for self-striping. I don't remember what the swatches looked like, but it looked really cool. This one is Totoro, more pastel colors. I guess I was kind of into pastel colors that part of the year, I suppose. But once again, it's supposed to have like thicker stripes instead of just variegated colors. I'm really excited to use these, but I'm afraid to use them because I don't want to do it unless I know exactly what I want to do with it, I suppose. So instead, I'm knitting socks out of Joanne yarn that I don't care about as much. Anyway, I'll get to these eventually, I guess. But for now, I'm just going to have them sit on the shelf and dream about it, I suppose. Here's another cool brand that I have some yarn from. It's from Companion Fiber, which is like relatively local to me, I think. Handcrafted in West Virginia. There you go. This one she's calling Trillium, and it's just a really cool, like different shades of dark red, and that's really cool. I'm afraid to use it. What if I make something I don't like out of this really cool yarn? I don't know. Also, once again, it's merino, like all of the hand-dyed yarn tends to be. Here's a fun one from another local fiber festival near me. It's 29 Bridges, made in Maryland. The colorway is patina. This is a kind of color pattern I really like on yarns where instead of stripes, we get like little speckles. It's like a really nice light blue, like kind of robin's egg, I suppose. And it's got some dark colors in there, maybe like a dark green, I think. A little bit of dark red, some orange speckles, and some nice strong yellow. Really cool, really pretty. Don't know what I want to do with it. Getting away from socks a little bit, I bought these from Robin's Promise. Technically, it's the same kind of yarn, just different dye lots. It's supposed to be falcon feather. They look pretty different, but I liked the way they look together. And I was kind of, I don't know, a little while after buying all of these, I was looking at it and I was thinking, oh, these kind of look cool together. Maybe instead of doing socks with these, maybe actually I would be happier doing like some sort of a shawl of some sort. I think that could be really cool. So I guess that's another factor. Like, I could make socks with these, but what if there's some other cooler thing I could make with it? The one kind of has red in it. Let's see. This one's got like a little bit more red in it. Maybe, and of course, like this isn't really accurate color-wise, but like that could be cool together too. I don't know. Maybe by being indecisive and holding off, maybe I will have something cooler in my future. as a result of it. So I don't know, we'll see. So I guess that's mostly all I really wanted to talk about today. I just like knitting socks. I'm kind of excited to get back into more fun colors now that the gray one is done. I'm just excited to be working on this one with fun colors and trying some new things with the heel flap. I think that'll be neat to try some new stuff. I have some other things that I should be probably working on right now. I did a gauge swatch for a textured cardigan that I want to be making sometime soon. Once the swatch was, I guess this is why you swatch. I washed it and I blocked it, and I kind of feel like it's too open of a texture, so I should probably drop down the needle size at least 2 sizes. I feel like it's just really open. So I guess I have to do another swatch, and so maybe this is me also stalling, so I don't have to do that. But it gives me more time to decide what exactly I feel like doing as far as the shaping for that goes. I think it's going to be my first seamed sweater because I think that'll just make sense. But I don't know, since I'm making it up myself, I want to make sure I give myself plenty of time to think about it so I don't end up regretting the choices I made later. So I don't know. I'll let it simmer while I work on something else, which is a nice use for socks. So you can still be making something while you plan something else, I guess. It seems to me like everybody kind of has a different idea of what their yarn stash should be. I like the idea of having a yarn stash for specific reasons. So something like sock yarn, it's kind of nice to have a variety of colors to choose from so you can do contrast toes or heels, or if you feel like you want to do some sort of a color pattern or whatever. It's kind of nice to have a bunch of choices to hold up together and decide what you want to do. So I feel like of all the kinds of yarn that I could pick up, sock yarn is one of those ones where I probably could just keep buying more sock yarn. If it's in a color that I'm drawn to, or I have an idea of what I might want to do with it, doesn't really matter. I'm going to use it eventually, just as long as it doesn't become an actual problem and I start picking up stuff I don't think I'm actually going to use. I don't really want to get anything that I don't think I couldn't use in some way or another. So really, I've got these ones here, and I guess those little guys, which I haven't decided where they're going to go yet. And I've got all of these, and I've got this bin. These are untouched. And then there's a bunch of partially used skeins of sock yarn in here. And looking at it now, I guess it's not like that much yarn. And I don't want to be like rationalizing my choices, but there's other people out there who have a lot more yarn than I do. This is just kind of trying to keep in line with what I'm interested in as far as how I want my stash to be. I don't want a ton of yarn just for the sake of having yarn. I don't really like to just buy yarn and not know what I want to do with it. That's kind of like what I want for a yarn stash. Mostly things that I know I'm actually going to use or stuff that I already have plans for. And that's going to be different for everybody else, I guess. And I think that's cool. This is what I'm interested in. But also, probably won't be buying any more sock yarn for a while. But who knows? We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I wanted to talk about. Socks. Let me know what kind of socks you're working on right now. Like I said, I like to make vanilla socks, but if you have any cool patterns that you're interested in, maybe fun color work sock patterns, which is something I kind of feel like I need to get back into and try again. So if you have anything that you would like to tell me about, I just like talking about socks. So please tell me anything that you would like to talk about. But anyway, I'm going to, we've got reflection going on here. I'm going to go drink some more tea and get to work on the rest of the gusset of this one so I can start that heel flap. And I will maybe talk to you again in another video sometime.